Hey, this is the World Advice Channel 2. What I want to talk about today is a topic of why do humans keep on ruining everything? So for this video, I'm not only going to explain why do we keep on ruining everything as a species in general, for that matter, okay? Whether it could be politically, socially, economically, environmentally, and so on, okay? But also give a solution to what we could do so we as human beings can no longer fuck everything up like we have been doing for ever since our species, has, for that matter, existed, okay? And that is what I'll be talking about today. So if you're interested in finding out not only why we screw up everything, but how we can stop doing it, then watch this video in order to find out. So now that I mentioned that, let's get started. So when it comes to why we screw things up, the first thing that I can sum up, for my first point is that it simply comes down to collectivism, okay? Human beings don't have a single individual or a group of individuals who come up with a rule that determines how a world should be run, okay? And whenever you have a group of people, especially not just a group of people, but a huge group of people, we're talking about millions of people who have their own way of putting their own personal thoughts into things, okay? You're obviously gonna have a fucking mess, okay? Because like I was getting at before, when it comes to why we keep on screwing things up, whether it's politically, like the state of the world, like the consistent unnecessary levels of wars, to maybe, having weapons that we don't really need, like nuclear weapons, or just in general, for as long as as we've existed, just having political tension and just weapons, like I was getting at before, that are really unneeded, going back to the times of Genghis Khan, biological weapons, whatever, things like that, to socially, like all the issues we have, like between people of different races, issues between men and women, social issues like the rich and the poor, which as a whole, all these issues prevent people from truly living life to their full extent when it comes to how happy they can be, yet we're the most powerful species, to the other main examples I gave, for things we screw up, like obviously it could be economically, like, having economic issues, or even economic ideologies like communism that doesn't work, to even just straight up, of course, the environment, which not only can affect us, but also is unnecessary because it affects species that why the hell do we have to give them a hard time? Like, why should they suffer because of us? All that type of stuff, okay? All those issues, I mentioned, okay? The truth of the matter is, it's like that because people just simply fucking just do things, randomly as they go along, okay? There's not any main uniform way of thinking which would be done if we had a leader or a group of people, for that matter, who kind of figure things out. We just have people just figure things out independently, and as a result of that, as it goes on, humans just fuck up everything, especially when you take into consideration the fact that most people, if not the vast majority of people, don't see the bigger picture. They don't see how everything in the world is all interconnected. There's different subjects that all come together, for, to help make our world a good place. They don't see it like that. All they fucking think about is just their field of expertise, and they just screw everything up like they usually freaking do, or I should say us humans collectively, not all of us, but on a collective level, the majority, if not the vast majority of us, just fuck up everything. And that is the honest truth of the matter, okay? We just kind of just have everybody have a saying, and a lot of people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, for that matter. They just add things that are unnecessarily cruel and really unreasonable, and it just screw everything up, okay? When it comes to different topics, okay? Whether it comes down to how women should, conduct themselves, in public, to to how rich people are supposed to behave, like down to things like how they should eat, or you're eating too fast or eating too slow. Like, who gives a fuck, you know? But that's humans for you in a nutshell. Or to other issues as well, like maybe things like the environment. Oh, do we have enough food around? For the longest time, people always had the idea, oh, we're never gonna run out of food in you know obviously, the ocean or the forest or something like that, which is so goddamn stupid. But that's an example of collectivism. Everyone just has their own opinion, and there's not one uniform thing that kind of binds every topic together. Everyone just does things independently, and it's fucking stupid, and people don't even know what the fuck they're talking about in a lot of cases, and they just do things and they screw things up. And that's the reason why collectivism is an example of why humans ruin everything, specifically, okay? Especially when you take into consideration the entitlement people have, okay? Oh, Lord have mercy, especially nowadays, okay? People are so entitled. They think they can say whatever they want to say, and you can't question them on it, which is so stupid, because a lot of these people just say things that are very hurtful and straight up cruel to other people. But at the same time, to put it bluntly, in all honesty, they also, of course, when you confront them about it, they say, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. Then someone should also be entitled to their opinion, to question your opinion. No one's saying that you don't have the right to your opinion, but if you're going to say something, I have the right to say something back. And they get angry about it. And that way of thinking, it's not even among a small portion, it's among a lot of people, especially nowadays, okay? And that way of thinking just encourages people to have bad opinions on a lot of things, and as a result just fuck things up more for the world, especially when you take into consideration everyday people have the ability to affect the world, since everyone has the ability to vote nowadays, and stuff. So they just screw everything fucking up. And that's why the world's so shitty nowadays. And that's, or at least the main leading reason why the world's so shitty, just entitlement. And that's the honest truth of the matter, okay? Let alone the fact that the political system, as well doesn't make things any better, So if you're wondering on a historic level from the very dawn of time to now why humans fuck up everything, that is the reason why, okay? Because it's just collectivism. Everyone has their say in one way or another, whether directly or indirectly, and they just end up fucking up everything. And that's why every time period you go in, even though there's good times, there's always, my God, that was fucking stupid, or was there really a need for that, and all that type of stuff. And that is the honest truth, okay, to put it bluntly. And that is the very, 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 very truth about why we as a species overall tend to fuck up everything everywhere we go, not only for ourselves but for even nature for that matter. And that is honest truth. So now the question of course comes up, what can we do to fix this? Well, the simple way we can fix this, was just like the examples I gave earlier, like for the issues like politically, socially, economically, environmentally, things like that, to put it bluntly, like the examples I gave, and there's other subjects as well, is that we need to have a set list of rules for how we do things, okay? For that matter, okay? And not just a set list of rules that are defined on how we can set things up. We also need to, of course, teach people to see the bigger picture, how everything is all interconnected in one way. They don't have to be an expert on any particular topic, but they need to overall see the bigger picture of how everything all contributes to our world the way it is, so we don't have people who have extremely bad takes, and of course with the democracy system have a way to somehow fuck up everything. And that is the honest truth, okay? So in short, to put it bluntly, in all honesty, that is how we can fix the problem. We need to have a set list of rules that determine things in general, so we don't screw things up, and set a limit to things, like certain things we set a limit for, like in other words we draw the line. Like, for example, we economically cannot do this particular thing. Like, for example, this example might be we don't embrace communism. It's a shitty ideology that's never worked. Or we cannot do certain things environmentally, like we cannot cut down this many trees and kill this many animals. Politically, we shouldn't do this or that. Like, we have a set list of rules of things that we should not do, like roads we should not cross. Okay, and that is the honest truth. So we don't end up making as a species the same mistakes we've been making for the past 10,000 plus years, you know, and just consistently figuring out better and more effective ways to fuck up our planet, not only for the environment but for ourselves as well, you know. And as a result, not only make things better for environment, you know, but even us as human beings being able to live a much happier, better life. And that is the truth. So that is all I have to say for this video. I hope you learned something new. If you like this video, thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And that's all I have to say, and simply put them out. So bye.